Visit our sponsor LiveWatch right now. Home security made easy. Plug and protect, do-it-yourself wireless technology. Save 40 to 60% from competitor systems. Patented ASAP instant message and fast response make responding to a potential emergency as easy as checking your cell phone and sending a text message to friends and family. No contracts and cancel at any time. The fastest alarm system technology ever created. Take control of your family's security with LiveWatch today. Click the link below. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is Thursday, September 10th, 2015, one day before September 11th. Ooh, so scary. I'm so scared. Hillary Clinton apologized, said she was sorry for committing criminal acts regarding her emails on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And this was a response from the GOP field. Did you see that? There was like poop and everything flying everywhere. It's funny, I was watching a TV show called Madam Secretary on Netflix, which is a study in propaganda in and of itself, because it basically features Hillary Clinton as this good person. She's like called into the position of Secretary of State, and the mainstream media is like working against her, and they really frame her in this positive light, which we know is opposite from the truth. You know, the fact that Hillary Clinton had to apologize on the Ellen DeGeneres show just shows how devastating the criminal act and acts that she's committed have been on her campaign run. I mean, it legitimately might have ended her officially.
I used a personal email account. It was allowed by the State Department, but I should have used two different accounts. I made a mistake, and I'm sorry for all the confusion. She
might be finished, which is a huge surprise. Now, of course, none of us are dumb enough to not know that the Republican Party and the GOP field is probably behind this attack, but it still doesn't mean that Hillary Clinton isn't a criminal, both her and her husband. I mean, a history of criminal activity. And again, that response from the GOP field, epic. I've never seen anything like it before in my entire life. Also, Al-Qaeda, CIAda, allegedly put out in their magazine Inspire, I think that's also like a gay and lesbian magazine here in the United States, put out a warning or issued a warning to attack, on the heels of September 11th, which I'm sure, again, this is just propaganda, to attack prominent business figures, people like Warren Buffett or the Koch brothers. Sheldon Adelson was mentioned. Ben Bernanke, economist, was mentioned, who asked his name to be removed. You see how they're positioning the elites in this country as the victim, when in reality, it's the American people that are the victim? I mean, is Warren Buffett really a victim? I mean, he cozied up to Barack Obama throughout the 2008-2009 financial crisis and basically approved of the largest bailouts in the history of the world. And people call him the greatest capitalist. Really, Warren Buffett is just a PR stuntman. He's a professional propagandist himself. And now Inspire magazine, which is allegedly written by Al-Qaeda, but really probably written by CIAda, is targeting and urging and promoting lone wolf attacks on these individuals. Also, the Walmart heirs were mentioned. So interesting as we approach September 11th that these elites that, again, push bailouts down our throat and that are basically just ripping all of us off. People like Jamie Dimon of JP Chase, who wasn't mentioned, who probably should have been, are now being positioned by the mainstream media as the victims. When the real victims, again, and the real victim is this country, is the American people. I talked about yesterday this refugee crisis, the truth behind it, hundreds of thousands of people moving into Europe. So again, it provides a smokescreen for further integration of this new world order, one world government. People want to know why this is happening. Well, it radically transforms the voting population and then pushes everybody as the system collapses on itself to the new world order agenda. Again, it's not what people say, it's what they do. Actions speak louder than words. And tensions are rising. Reports came out today and yesterday that Russia is increasing their military buildup in Syria. They're actually operating from an airfield. And troops are fighting along the Bashar al-Assad government. So we have all these tensions. We have the BRICS nations, Russia and China namely, supporting Syria, while at the same time the United States has launched these aggressive propaganda campaigns to take out Assad and to potentially collapse Syria. Again, I talked about this yesterday. We've seen this in Libya, we've seen this in Iraq, we've seen this in Afghanistan. We see this across the entire Middle East. That's why the Levant, the greater Levant, has been grossly destabilized. It's a cesspool and a bloodbath, and arguably has more radical and dangerous terrorist elements than what we saw 10 years ago with the fomentation creation of Al-Qaeda. And we have global superpowers battling out. Also did a very important video a few videos ago, the real reason Obama went to Alaska. And since that report, the Los Angeles Times, I believe it was, reported that the United States is beefing up their intelligence operations in the Arctic. Isn't that interesting? See, it wasn't about climate change at all. That's just what they were showing you on Obama's White House YouTube channel. Again, not what he says in front of a camera, it's what they're actually doing behind the scenes.
It is beautiful.
Also in the news, according to a recent CNN ORC poll, Donald Trump has now taken the lead with a 30% majority across the GOP field, followed by Ben Carson, the two anti-politicians, the two non-politicians. You see how Americans have woken up to the fact that these career politicians are criminals? People like Hillary Clinton and her husband, they're just tired of it. People like George W. Bush and his dynasty in their family dynasty of presidents one after another. People have woken up to the fact that these career politicians are what are driving this country into the ground. So it's interesting with Donald Trump, he's got a 30% majority, clear majority in the GOP field, I think followed by Ben Carson, another non-anti-politician, I believe somewhere in the ballpark of 16%. We have Ted Cruz at 8%, and then the rest of the field has 3% or less. This includes people like Rand Paul. I mean, this is stunning. Who would have thunk that Rand Paul would have 3% or less in the polls leading up to the 2016 presidential election? It just goes to show you, and I'm actually like Rand Paul. I liked his father a lot better. I like the constitutional principles that they're fighting for, his filibuster on drone strikes, etc. But it shows, honestly, it's been a complete failure. I mean, 3% or less of the popular vote just goes to show you that they've failed. I mean, the campaign largely, Rand Paul's campaign, has failed. The two anti-politicians, Donald Trump and Ben Carson, the brain surgeon leading the polls. And it really is a testament to how angry Americans are, how angry our population is, how people like Donald Trump are able to play into the rhetoric and tap into the vein of the anger that is boiling here among the American people. Again, we know that these career politicians are criminals. We know people like Hillary Clinton, Republicans and Democrats know this, know that they've been ripping us off, committing criminal acts, burning their email servers, right around the time Benghazi Gate occurred.
Get up and fight for what you believe in, no matter how hard it is. I'm going to fight for all the people like my mother who need somebody in their corner. And they need a leader who cares about them again.
We know all of this. We know that we're being lied to. We know that our government can't be trusted. We know that this system is an illusion, that the constitutional republic as it was founded is no longer. But this is a more looks like a plutocracy where we have elites that are now being portrayed as victims in the mainstream media, according to the recent edition of Inspire magazine. Again, nothing has changed in thousands of years. We've reverted back to where we were before. Kings and queens, maybe you want to call it a plutocracy with the peasants, and this trickle-down economics, it isn't working. And it's exactly why they're slamming immigrants by the droves, not just here in the United States of America, crossing the border from Mexico and Central America through Mexico into the United States, but also in Europe, because it forces this New World Order agenda, it forces this collapse, it forces this global integration. So the elites can provide that solution on a silver platter to you and say that they saved the day, that this is the reason why we need to join the world, that we need to unify people of all races and colors, refugees, and citizens of their respective countries. Again, this plays into the economic and political model, the agenda behind the scenes that is being pushed by these criminals that do not represent us and do not represent the people. I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere, make it viral, hard-hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.